everybody, welcome back to my shop. It is great to see you. Thank you so much for coming back. Today we are going to be tackling organization in my brand new shop. If you are unaware or if you're new to my channel, you can check out somewhere over here my announcement for my big move into my brand new shop in Whitehall, Maryland, which is where we are right now. I'm moved into a beautiful 4,500 square foot shop and we're in the middle of the build out. So, that being said, when we're dealing with this amount of space, my stuff is absolutely everywhere, so I have to organize. One of the best ways I've taken from my old shop, moving it to this shop, is going to be a French cleat wall. So this is gonna be a little bit of a different video for me. We're gonna try, instead of just playing some music, we're gonna add a little bit of voiceover here. I'm gonna tell you how to build this, and I'm really excited to do that because this is an easy DIY affordable project for you to do. At the end of the day, realistically, all you need is a table saw, a sheet of 1/2 inch plywood, a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood, and some glue. You can also do it, if you want, with a circular saw and a straight edge, provided that circular saw has a bevel option. So this is a really, really easy project for you to do at home. What makes this a very desirable project, especially for the DIYer that wants to organize their shop at home or be a pro, is there's very little waste. And when I say that, what I'm saying is the leftover plywood you have from the project can be used to make the holders for the tools that you're going to hang on your French cleat wall. And especially if you're new to woodworking, this is a great opportunity to delve into designing your own holders. And I'm gonna be dropping other videos for when I make the holders, and of course I'm gonna offer plans up, but you can actually design things that make sense for you, and while you're doing that, you're honing your skills. So this is a great project. This is a quick project. In fact, I'm probably talking more than it's gonna take us to build it, so I'm just gonna zip it up and let's get started. First thing we need to take care of is we need to rip the backer board in cleat board so it can be cut on the table saw. Now you can do this using a track saw, a circular jigsaw with a straight edge. However you do it is fine, but just go ahead and rip those two pieces in half so we can get to the next step. There's really no hard, fast rule on how wide to cut your slats, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna take each half sheet of plywood and start ripping it. I go for 5 inches because at the end of the day we are going to be cutting these in half at a 45-degree angle, which makes our French cleat work. Using a combination square or any comparable device, you're gonna set your table saw at 45 degrees and then cut your 5-inch pieces in half. Truth alert though, it took me an embarrassing amount of test pieces to get this right. In all honesty, it doesn't need to be perfect, but I don't know how to leave well enough alone, so I just kept cutting test pieces. So just you do you and cut the pieces in half. With all the cleat pieces cut, before you do glue up, all that's left to do is mark the layout on your backer board. Rummage around your shop, find one of the 15 tape measures you've lost and a pencil, and make sure you're marking off every 6 inches. If you're lucky enough to have a drywall square in your shop, you can use that to mark the other side of the board. It certainly will make things easier. But if not, make sure that when you're marking the opposing side, you start your measurements from the same end of the backer board. I know, look, that seems pretty obvious, but don't ask me how I found this one out. At this point, it becomes a glue-up exercise. Grab some wood glue from your shop, whatever you got's gonna work, and just get at it. Make sure you have enough glue for proper adhesion and line up each end of the cleat on the marks that you set using your tape measure. It's certainly gonna help if you have a compound square handy. You wanna make sure that cleat is square at the side edge of the backer board. And lastly, you want to drop a few pin or brad nails in the face of the cleat to hold in place while the glue sets up. Certainly you can use clamps for this purpose, but frankly, who has that many clamps? If you do, make sure you leave a comment in the section below. Now this next step isn't truly necessary, but since I like to over-engineer things, it's something I just like to do. Flip your completed board over and mark where your cleats are, striking straight lines. In post-edit, I just realized, where was this square when I was measuring my spacing in the first place? Would have made things so much easier. Using my brad nailer, I place nails through the back into the cleat on the other side. A little trick when using a brad nailer though is when nailing, make sure you put the nailer at a slight angle, even opposing each other. By placing nails against each other in this opposing pattern, you're creating almost like a pulling mechanism, pulling the cleat into the backer board, creating a slightly tighter joint. So one of the things I noticed when I was doing glue up, I got about 1/3 of the way through and I realized for some reason I just forgot to put glue on both sides. I always put glue on both sides. It almost creates almost like a sucking adhesion between the two mediums. I don't honestly know what I was thinking. It's 92 degrees here today, 60% humidity with no wind. which makes it feel like a pressure cooker here in the shop. It's the first real hot day of the summer, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm sweating everywhere, places we don't want to talk about. But I forgot. At that point, I started upping the amount of glue, and I noticed that I was fine. I had squeeze out, so I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Look, this thing is not gonna come apart. But it is an oversight by me on the video, and I have to call it out. Either way, we're in good shape. We're gonna get this thing mounted on the wall. My cleat wall is going on cinder block walls, so I'm gonna use pressure-treated lumber here. Hopefully you're lucky enough and are putting this directly into a studded wall in your shop and don't have to do this step. But if you do, what I'm doing is I'm using a Forstner bit here and creating a recess for the Tapcon concrete screws I'm going to use to mount these to the wall. Sitting in that recess, the screws will allow the backer board to sit flush onto these studs. Before I mount this on the wall, I'm going to have to measure up my stud spacing. Now, this isn't going to be a load-bearing wall, so I'm just going to go with 3 studs, placing 1 in the middle and 2 on each side. I'm marking the wall with chalk. That way I know where to place my studs later, because with my memory, I just won't be able to visualize where this stuff's supposed to go. Using the center point from my Forstner bit as a guide and using a wood bit, I'm going to pre-drill holes through my studs. This is going to allow me to then drill holes through these holes with my cement bit directly into the walls, making it much easier for line up later. I'm using 1/4 inch by 2 1/4 inch concrete and masonry anchor screws here, and I'm drilling those directly into the holes that I pre-drilled earlier. These screws are zinc plated and ceramic coated, so they will last absolutely forever. I placed 4 screws per stud, and I just equally spaced them vertically. I used a few deck screws as a cleat to hold the cleat wall on the wall. Wow, I'll say that 10 times fast. I'm in the shop alone today, and by doing this, they're giving me something to hold the board level while I screw it to the studs. To mount the backer board to the studs, I'm just using regular old cabinet screws. They are more than strong enough for this application. They're self-tapping also, which makes mounting the board a breeze. 3 screws across, 4 vertically does the trick, and this project is done. Like I said, this is a really easy DIY project, although with any project I do, let's be honest, I say it's DIY and it's totally DIY and I totally flub it up. There's got to be about 18 minutes of B-roll screw-ups that I did. You know, eventually we'll get that out. They're quite humorous and usually involve some form of blood. This one isn't that bad though. It's fine. But like I said, the cost of entry into this project is really, really low. You're talking about a sheet of 1/2 inch plywood, a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood, some glue and some screws, and your time. On top of that, it's movable. You leave, you unscrew it from the wall, you take all your stuff with you. If you like what you see here, make sure that you hit that like, subscribe, and that little notification bell so you know when we have new videos that come out. You can reach me via social media or email. Email is scott@thecraftywiener.com. Facebook, Instagram, both messengers at The Crafty Wiener. In the meantime, make sure you're getting in your shop and you're building beautiful things, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching our first how-to video. I hope you enjoyed it. We've got a special announcement. We're super psyched to tell you that we now have Crafty Wiener merchandise, and you can get that merchandise at the website below or in the description. As a celebration for the grand opening of our store, you can get a 15% discount by using the discount code CRAFTYCLEAT at the time of checkout. This is a limited discount code that will expire on July 5th. Why July 5th? Because we're also tying it in with a grand opening July 4th Celebrate America sale. Again, thanks for watching the video and check out our store. We'll see you on the next one.